Why is Meridiana special? Meridiana is special because you can get a beautiful home like this one in a neighborhood that has all of these amenities that we have in a location that is as close to downtown Houston and the medical center as we are, all for under about $350. And that's hard to do in other luxury communities. And so today I'm going to show you a newcomer to the neighborhood of Beazer. They're here with their now famous Duet series as well as a 40-foot product. And then we're also going to go and show you another reason why Meridiana continues to be special, because they have great inventory deals and incentives pretty much year round. So if that sounds good, stay tuned. All right, so up first, we're going to check out Beazer Homes Bristol plan. And I have to say, I have been on a little bit of a Beazer run these last 6 months or so. I've sold quite a few of them throughout the metro. Got one in Austin Point. Had another one up north. That's gonna be your garage. And then when I saw them popping up in my neighborhood, I said, I know that ain't who I think it is, when I saw the sign pop up. And it was good old Beazer coming to Meridiana. And I think they're gonna be a good little shakeup because they do a couple things really well. They are super energy efficient. They have really pretty options if you're building it. And many times in their inventories are usually pretty nice as well. And they are usually at a much better price per square foot than some of the more well-known kind of like luxury builders in the space, right? So I am interested to see how they play with the, let's say the Highlands of the world here, or the Perrys of the world here that people kind of know, like, and trust. I'm interested to see how they play because they're gonna encroach on some of that market share that those players have here. The other thing is Highland, Perry, to a certain extent, David Weekley, some of the people that have been here longer, they have the traction, they have the sections that they can point to, they have the data. So I'm interested to see if the pricing stays this good or if they kind of hike their prices up because they're in the neighborhood that they are. I think if they kind of stay where they are, it ends up being a net positive for builders like yourself that are looking at something that is in this, especially my entry-level builders. Those that are looking for alternatives of really nice 1 and 2 story options that are going to be super affordable. Chesmar, you know, is up there for my people that I recommend. Y'all know I love a Highland. For those of y'all that aren't new, y'all know I love a Highland. Perry Homes is the one that everybody knows, loves, and searches. And so to give them another option that is going to be pretty in this neighborhood is also going to be awesome to see. And I'm interested to see how it balances all out, right? The other thing is Beazer is kind of more well known. In fact, they have a community that's like 4 minutes from here called Elwood. And I thought I was gonna get a few people out there, and they ended up saying, nah, we like Meridiana more. So now I'm interested to see, for the people that were loving kind of what they saw in Elwood, to have the 40-foot product line now kind of featured over here as well. I'm interested to see if that hurts Elwood or helps Elwood or makes Elwood go down in price. I'm interested to see how that all plays out. But yeah, good size secondary bedroom. Secondaries on a 40-foot are going to basically be full size. If you get a queen in here, you're kind of pushing it, but I would say full size with little nightstands and you'll be good. Galley style closets is going to be what you should expect. Okay, we'll go on over to the other bedroom. This one feels a little bit wider, so you could get a queen in this one. But again, I think for the person that is going to be most looking at this is going to be basically young families or a downsizer or someone that just wants something really nice without a ton of room. This style of home is going to be a great fit for them. Full bath, kind of Jack and Jill style, shared by these two. But again, 8-foot doors, tall ceilings. We got nice hardware. That has been kind of what I've come to experience over these last 6 months with the 4 Beazer sales that I've done over these last 6 months. 3 of those were builds. And so for all of those, they had almost this level of upgrades to the kitchen, as well as the baseboards and fixtures. They all pretty much had this black window trim as well, just to give it that more modern touch and feel. So yeah, man. Trade-off of being in a 40-footer, that's where the table's gonna do, is gonna float. I don't think I've seen a 40-footer yet where the table is not floating in the middle like that. But then again, we got really nice sized furniture in here, and it doesn't feel tight at all. It feels purposeful, it feels good. Doesn't feel like it's too crowded on anything. I love how this couch is framing this up, where this would be your TV wall if you had a TV in here. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, out to the back patio. I believe this is extended on this plan. I think normally it would basically be from this wall just straight across, I think is what you would typically get. And so this just shows you what you could do as a structural add. The one, and I don't want to say con because they're a production builder, and production builders have their regulations. That's why they can be production builders and produce a lot, is because they have certain things that they will and won't do. And I would say probably the one kind of knock on my experience with Beazer is that they're not super customizable. And so if you had the dreams of moving this wall here, you know, throwing this kind of door here, moving this kitchen or doing this thing, or adding room to your closet, this ain't the builder for you, okay? They're gonna have their pre-packaged plans that will allow you to do certain things on it, but for the most part, you kind of stuck with what you got, or you got to move up to a bigger home. And that's not too dissimilar from some of you guys' favorite builders like Beazer Homes. Beazer Homes is very not customizable, but they have 300 plans, and so they'll just say, okay, well, you probably want to go to the plan that's 2 plans bigger than this, and it'll give you that media room, office, and whatever, right? It'll do the thing that you wanted to do, and they didn't have to customize anything because they already have that drawing planned out. This is going to be a little bit bigger than what your normal 40-foot size lot is, unless this section, which appears to be all Beazer right now, they're giving them a little bit slightly deeper lots, which could be the case. But on average, I would say 40-foot lot will probably stop at this fence, and so you probably got another 7 to 10 feet of depth on this one that I wouldn't expect you to have. But again, we are in what appears to be currently an exclusive Beazer section, just going by all the sold signs that I'm seeing out there, that these may be a little bit deeper than normal, okay? All right. But yeah, as I said, base plan on this one is $330. To get this one to look super pretty, you're right at like $350. I don't think you have to spend much. If you're, you know, kind of nitpicky and you want the black trim, that's gonna cost money. You know, 8-foot doors and things. In the other neighborhoods that I built, it was standard. I'd have to see what the standard features are for over here. you know, but I think for 20,000 on a house, 20 to 30,000 on a house that is this size, you can really pretty this thing up. I like the little villain black. Hold on. But yeah, this is about 1,700 square feet. So who do I think this is like meant for? I think this is more meant for, like I said, downsizers, young families. You got the one or two kids that are super small, but have kind of grown to a spot where they need their own space. But yeah, tall ceilings. So you can definitely customize it, make this thing your own. Linen closet. That's what it, right? So yeah, beautiful home, man. I'm a fan. I haven't had many issues with Beazer. On my last one in Austin Point, we had a couple items that popped up that you know, there were some things that the sales team said that they would be able to do, and we went into the contract assuming that we'd be able to do it, and then when it came down the line to like a construction manager, they were like, we couldn't leave these doors off of this, otherwise we wouldn't be able to close out the home, sort of thing. So it was minor details. It was nothing structural. It was nothing that would make me be like, oh my God, I hate Beazer. It was disappointing, but I would say 90% of the rest of the build process went on without a hitch. I had good communication from the construction manager. I had good communication from the sales team. And then the ones before that in other communities, same kind of thing. Those people didn't ask for anything kind of off the wall and kind of special. So I can't say if I would be disappointed again if we were to ask for something off the wall and special. I just would advise that if you were looking for something that is more customizable, there are builders that have more customizable options and processes than Beazer. But if you want something that is energy efficient and is pretty and is super affordable and gives you an alternative for the people that don't quite love, let's say you're looking in Meridiana and you're at this price point, but you don't quite love that you have to be in that townhome style look and feel of a Chesmar. Well, this gives you another option to get a more traditional home that I think is super beautiful around the same size and same price. Okay, so that is who I think this is for, specifically in Meridiana, is for the people that are at this price point, don't quite love the townhome look, downsizers, young families that are looking to be in a neighborhood like this and are not really going crazy on this first home. They just kind of want to get in, get their feet wet, and then they'll move to the next house that is closer to the dream house at that point in time. But out the gate, to be in something like this, 350-ish in Meridiana, where we got soon to be 3 amenity centers, multiple pools, on-site restaurant, that thing better come back. I'm about to get on Matt's head. That thing need to come back. On-site restaurant, you know, walking trails, catch and release fishing, pickleball courts, tennis ball courts, Ninja Warrior courses. We got everything that you could pretty much want. 18-hole putting green. Anything that you pretty much want, we have here in this neighborhood. And so to be able to have access to all of that for under $350 and under like $1,500 a year for an HOA is crazy. But now, one of the more popular plans that I've seen pop up in the big neighborhoods, and that's kind of been the motto for Beazer, at least in my experience over the last few years, has been they'll do their own thing or they'll kind of fill a niche or a need in a big community. And so I've seen them pop up in Ellison with this duet. I want to say I saw them in Bridgeland as well with a little duet like this. And so I know they had a few that were up north as well. So I'm interested to see what the finishes are like over here, because this is a neighborhood that has a bunch of competition. There's already builders like Chesmar that also occupy this attached townhome sort of vibe as well. So I'm interested to see how that looks, and we'll talk pricing and all of that once we get over there. Up next, we got the Serendipity in their Duet series. So we'll pop on in, see what this is like. Good deal. Again, tall corridors, tall ceilings, wide corridors. You have an office on this one. Okay, so let's see if we still have the other bedrooms or if there's anything that we gave up to be in this one. Laundry over here. Got a little bit of storage. Nice, cute little room. Super cute. Same kind of galley style closet, because again, this is gonna be a even more narrow product than where we were last time, but I'm gonna be honest with you, it doesn't feel narrow at all. Garage would be there. I believe the standard is gonna be a 1-car garage on these. Come on through to your open concept. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love the amount of cabinets, love the amount of countertop space. Love it. Love it, love it. This is actually a little bit bigger than the one that we were in just moments ago. This is right around 1,800 square feet. And it feels, with that extra little bit, it feels way more grand. And I also like how this is kind of shifted around to make this feel like a true just dining space and kitchen. I like how this feels. Open concepts, wall of windows, windows up high. Does all the stuff that you would expect it to do. But I could have sworn when I toured this in Ellison that this was a 3-bedroom. Did I miss a bedroom? Let me see if I missed a bedroom. No. Office. One bed, yeah. That should be the primary, huh? I wonder if the structural option that they chose on this one was an office instead of a 3rd bedroom. When I get a chance to meet the sales counselor, I'll ask and make sure that I update y'all on what they did over here. But I know when I feel like I've seen it in Ellison, it was a 3-bed for this plan. All right, so again, this is looking like this is about the space that I would expect to see on a 40-footer. But it looks like this plan is a little bit deeper than that one, just based on what we got going on, right? But I love this back patio. Your fence would normally be here, so you wouldn't normally see just all this green space. You have a little bit more privacy than that. Their homes are actually super energy efficient, as I mentioned before, so efficient that they can run off of basically these like smart mini splits, where all the other builders have these really big, 10-ton, 12-ton units that cost a lot of money to run because it costs them basically a ton of money to turn on and turn off. And so they can run this house and it feels, this one and that one, it's kind of muggy out and it is freezing in here. It's almost too cold. And I'm somebody that can sleep no shirt on with no shirt on in 65-degree AC with a fan on. I'm that kind of person. And this house feels almost too cold. Okay, so super energy efficient. They're also one of the ones that do spray foam in their attics as well. So you can feel it. I know some people look at that, and I've been touring with people and they've looked at that and they're just like, is this gonna actually cool the house? And it feels really good in here right now, okay? Turn it on around to the primary. You got some elevated touches again, high baseboards, 8-foot doors, interesting ceiling details. So you got the space, you got the room to have a really nice product. And this plan starts at like $320, okay? And so if you didn't quite want, or didn't need all the rooms, this is the way they have this is for somebody that's retired, got their little hobbies and their things. They got a little office to check up on their portfolios and then go and hit the neighborhood. This is very simple. Laundry connected, but with that room being turned into basically an office, this is a 2-bed in an office. This now competes. Again, one of the things that makes Meridiana special is that we have a variety for a lot of different people. And one of the people that we serve here is an active 55+ community. And so a lot of the old homes in the 55+ section before Tri-Coast, I don't know what happened to Tri-Coast. I think Tri-Coast actually went out of business. Perry Homes took over that section. Long story short, Perry Homes took over that section. And now they're doing a mix of their like 45 to 55 foot wide products in there. And they're kind of expensive. There's really no way to put that, right? When they come back down from their inventory price high, they'll come down to a great price, but out the gate, Perry Homes is just probably one of the highest price per square foot builders that we have in the Houston metro. So it's kind of hard to catch a deal that hasn't been sitting a while for Perry. And as a result of that, I think that this coming in for someone that wants something that's a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to kind of maintain, I believe now this becomes a player for somebody that was maybe looking at the 55+ section and saying, well, hey, I don't quite care if I'm around kids if I get to save $100K to get the spaces that I actually need as a retired person, right? If I only need 2 bedrooms, maybe we have a family member that's going to come visit, you got a grandkid or something that's going to stop by and check on you, or if you may be a single person that is working and you want to be in a neighborhood like this and you don't quite need all the bedrooms, then something like this might actually be a great fit for you, right? I think this is going to be an interesting unintended competition with the 55+ community. And so I'm interested to see when I have people that come. I think it's all going to be tied to whether that person is okay with sharing a wall. I know people that come from different places like up north where they're used to being in stacked kind of townhomes where it's 4 to 6 of them on a row, and that's just kind of what they're used to. I think it would probably be easier for people like that than to have somebody that's maybe from the South or relocating from somewhere that's a little bit more separate in their living. That would probably be the deciding factor on whether or not you would just spend the extra money and go with the 55+ with a Perry versus doing something like this. But I do think that this is going to be an unintended good little competition that might force Perry to come down on that price, because I think this falls right in that niche. Cool. Cool. They do have another plan next door. Let's see if that one's bigger or smaller. I don't think I've seen that one before in person. So I'm interested to see how that one stacks up with this one. And then we'll go and check out some more inventory steals in the neighborhood. And for those of y'all that are curious about where this section is, If you've ever been to Meridiana, if you've been to the model home row, right there off of Showcase, basically that was the old model home row. This over here behind me is the new model home row. It's in the section just tucked right behind the model homes, and so now you can definitely get a picture. This is actually old Highland, old Dries sections behind you from the 60, 65. You got the old Dries section behind me. That's the old like 100 and I believe 90-foot sections over there as well. So it's been this little pocket of land that was behind the model home parks that I thought was actually just gonna be like their final phases of model homes. I thought that's what this was gonna be. And then when I saw the Beazer sign coming soon, I was like, what Beazer doing back here where the old model homes are gonna be? And it just ended up being their own little section, man. So that's where we are right now. You're right off of your walking distance from Meridiana Parkway. You're 5 minutes, not even, you're 3 minutes in a car to get to the actual Oasis Village, which has the lazy river, the wave pool, all the amenities, the gym, all that stuff. You're super close to that. But yeah, I just want to kind of paint a picture of where you are for those that have actually been here and know kind of what I'm talking about with the model home park. This is where you are with the Beazer section. And I do think that I also saw a sign pointing near the tracks towards the end where Imagination is. Me and the wife showcased their opening a few weeks ago on the channel, and I think that Beazer is going to have some of their 40-footers in there as well. So again, the salespeople have kind of been between here and other neighborhoods. Once they get here and I actually meet them, I'll probably get them on camera to introduce y'all to who's going to be over here, and then we'll get all the details about where they are, sections, availability, all that stuff. But for right now, I see a whole bunch of sold signs behind me, so y'all better hurry up. All right, up next we have the Reflection. And I didn't even notice they had a little front patio, a little front porch. I didn't even notice that. Pretty. Pretty, pretty. So garage will be there. Pretty, pretty. We got a galley closet similar to the other one. Come on in. It looks like we got a full bath going in here. Slide on over. We have another bedroom. Pretty good size, not too bad. And this one's around 1,800 square feet as well. So you've seen 2 beds so far. Slide on in. Got your laundry. That was some of spray foam that I talked about a little bit earlier. And it looks like your laundry connects to your closet, but we ain't gonna see that. Go ahead and slide on by back in here. And again, another beautiful open concept sort of feel and vibe. And I think it's really pretty. They showed you on this one that you can get the sliders. So you can open on up. Have that indoor outdoor feel, nice size patio. Have multiple tables out here. Just enough space behind for you to have a little green space, do your little garden. And I actually like how that one's tucked off. That's pretty. So I stand corrected about what I said a few moments ago. This is a 40-foot style product that has it tucked off in the corner like this. And I actually really like it. I think it's a great layout. Super pretty. Walk-in pantry. This is okay. Whenever a house that is smaller than ours, does stuff, I start hating immediately. He's like, why they got all this? Why did they get all this? We got appliances, got the cooktop, built-in appliances, range hood, just things that I'm noticing that are upgrades throughout. We got the glass inserts here, trash can pull out. They got the stuff. Hold on. Come on through, Beazer. Luxury vinyl plank. If you need that fireplace, you can do that as well. Again, I've never seen this model, so I'm experiencing it live with y'all. This kind of reminds me of how the Chesmar Sweetwater kind of does their little thing with the separation of getting a little bit taller ceiling. Love it. See what the prime is looking like. Pretty. This is a good size. This feels like similar in some aspects to the home that my client built in Austin Point with the size of spaces. And her plan was built out a little bit differently, but the size of this primary feels pretty good. I think she ended up having a fireplace on the same kind of wall as well with sliders. So getting a lot of the stuff that she got on her wider product over here. Double vanity, no make ready station in the middle. Is just straight across, but that's where you can have all your make ready stuff. Got towels all the way up to the top. Nice size shower, standalone tub. And I think the tall ceilings in here just kind of make this feel so grand. I do know that adding this door between the closet and the laundry is an add that you can do. I think it was like $700 to reframe it to add this door from here straight into laundry, which I think is a must in my opinion. I know that if we move, that the wife is gonna want that just for the amount of laundry that we do on a day in and day out basis. She is gonna want that close to the closet and just all the dirty clothes closet and the laundry. I know she's gonna want all that connected in the next one. I'm already knowing. But yeah, man, this is really nice. I'm seeing really upscale finishes. I'm seeing tall baseboards, tall ceilings, tall doors, wide corridors to say that this is like a 40-foot product. Chef's kiss. And to say that this starts, just to share a wall, this starts in like the 320s. Now I think that's a little bit higher than where Chesmar's was. Chesmar's were like starting at 290, so you're paying a little bit more. And so that would be the comparison of if you're looking at townhomes over here, do you want a 2-story townhome? Do you want a 1-story townhome? And do you want something that feels a little bit wider maybe than that one does? But yeah, I've showcased those on old videos as well, man, but I'm liking what I'm seeing on this one. Again, this one starts at like 320. One next door was at like 325. And then the first one that we looked at was like 330, right? And that's before incentives, that's before anything that we can help you with, that's before anything we can negotiate on your behalf. With them being pretty much brand new, there's still some room for that, okay? But yeah, we got more to see. Up next, we have Perry Homes. And now we're gonna showcase some of the reason that this neighborhood is really special for those people that don't quite want to do a build, don't want to quite go all out and do all the customization and pay a premium. For the people that are ready to go and looking for something right now, Meridiana is always one of the best neighborhoods for inventory steals. And we'll get into some of the numbers as we're walking through this home. secondary bedroom with its own ensuite. So perfect for, got that older kid that wants to be grown, have a little separation. You got that parent that's turning into a big grown kid, thinking they too grown, but you got to keep an eye on them. Combination. Ooh, what is this? We got 3-car and a storage bay. Is this 4-car? This is almost a 4-car garage. Yeah, this is almost a 4-car. You could probably squeeze it because you can get 2 here. You could probably squeeze 1 there. And then, yeah, this is damn near a 4-car. That's crazy. With a storage bay. All right, slide on through with the office. Sorry for the zebras. They are unpaid actors, people. Office, flex space, dining, if you wanted a formal dining. You got your rotunda. So the people with the Christmas trees and the thoughts of things and ways to decorate for the holidays, you got your little rotunda where you can do just that. And then you come into the wall of windows, tons of storage, tons of cabinet space, okay? So yeah, this one is, I believe, 6527. And so this one, when it first listed, was nearly 700K. And for the space, if this is what I think it is, let me go back to the little sheet real quick. Almost 3,400 square feet for the space. 700, as we kind of talked about a segment ago. That's kind of high, but that's Perry numbers, right? They have built enough of these. They've had, most of my people that buy Perrys tend to build them ground up. And so they have a lot of data with the price per square foot that makes sense to them. They have it. But when that time comes, and the house is just sat for a little while, that's when you get some of the best deals. And this one has now been marked down like 90,000, right? And honestly, we could probably get them to over 100, just being honest. So like right now, we're at right at 595. We could legit probably get them 580, 570, somewhere in that range, and likely still keep closing costs or whatever assistance that they were gonna give. In addition to that, we could probably get some blinds, we could probably get some appliances on it. Some of that is due to the house just sitting. Some of that is due to the relationship that I've built with Beazer Homes throughout the metro, right? Shoot or shoot. So you ask for the stuff that you want and see what we could get. And I think we would get a lot of it. But yeah, this is one of my favorite plans from them. I believe this is actually the model home in Sienna in their 55-foot section. And it's just really pretty. I like how it frames up. This one also gives you a really wide back patio, so it doesn't do the big tall like Toll Brother Weston thing that I love, where it's like a 2-story back, but it gives you a really wide back, so you still have room for a TV, multiple tables, you have a room for outdoor kitchen, all the stuff, and still have a decent amount of backyard space. So I absolutely love this plan. And then size of the game room and the media room up there, from what I can remember, this was one of my favorite plans on this 55-foot wide. And add on to that you can almost get what appears to be damn near a 4-car garage. That would be perfect. Then you got details like this in your primary. Wall windows, interesting architectural details. That this is kind of similar to what they do on their big 1-stories that go out into the sliders. But yeah, this is really nice. Feels really big. This feels bigger than a 50 to 55 foot wide product. It feels just way bigger. Separate vanities. Got linen. And separate closets. That's kind of a more traditional Perry thing to do. Got the peekaboo shower. They looking at you. You looking at them. Everybody's all right. And then it's the slightly bigger closet that connects to the laundry. But yeah, man, this is a nice plan. This is a plan that solves most problems and has the spaces that you would pretty much need for most family dynamics. 2 beds down, office, wide open space for entertainment. Table would probably need to float on this one. If you're not gonna use that office as a dining, I would use it with a floating table, that's fine. Wouldn't love it, but I would. And then you would have your TV going on this wall or over the fireplace. But yeah, does the thing. And another thing that makes Meridiana special is this is a 55-foot gated section, okay? So where many communities, if they even have gates, so gates used to be super popular here, it seems like, in the 80s and 90s. And so you'll get a lot of old sections that seem to have gated communities, especially up north. I guess that's where I notice it the most, is going and looking at like old stuff in like Spring, Humboldt, Klein kind of area. That's where I noticed it the most. But for whatever reason, the developers went away from having like gated exclusive sections. I don't know why. I don't know where they got the data from. I know everybody that calls me from other places that are fancy, that are above that like 60 to 65 foot wide and bigger, a lot of them want to be in gated sections, and a lot of our neighborhoods don't have them. One of the special things about Meridiana is that you have gated sections from 50, 55, 60, 70, and I think 90 and 100. They had gated varieties for all of those. There were only a couple spots in the middle. For example, like the 60s or 65s missed it. So like Highland, people I know would love if Highland Homes here in the 65s was gated, or Newmark was gated, but they aren't. And for whatever reason, it skips over their section. Perry Homes went we're the exclusive builder. We have the most lots, we have the most money, and they have the most gated sections. It appears out of everybody here in all of Meridiana. But if you love Perry and you want to be down south and you want to be gated, you can do that on a few different size footprints here, which is unique. Of the developments that had gated sections, it seems like developers that came from different markets. And that peekaboo for the Peekaboo crew off the front door. But yeah, this is just a crazy size game room. The width of this kind of gives me the vibes of what the Highland Homes 224 plan does. Before y'all ask, that is a floor plan by Highland Homes for the new people. We've shown it a dozen times. We'll probably show it again next week. I think me and the wife are going to Bridgeland to look at their new model homes that they revealed this past weekend. but how this just kind of follows and mirrors the size of downstairs kind of reminds me of that, just a little bit. Then you go off into your actual media room. Now I know this is gonna piss some people off that are like media room purists, that is like, oh, it should be dark. Unfortunately, when you build in a development, the developer says what your elevations need to look like. And sometimes they'll say, hey, you can't have 20 feet of wall with no window. I'm just throwing some out. Don't hold me to it. But for example, they may be like, you can't have 20 feet of wall with no window. And so even though on this plan, this is where the movie room goes, it fell in the 20-foot range, so we got a bunch of windows in what is your movie room. That happens all the time. Okay, so unfortunately, that's kind of developer driven, depending on the approved elevation that they have going with the section. So there's not a lot of repetition, and so things don't just kind of look like plain boxes. The developer will sometimes say, this is what you have to do, and the builders just work with that, and they'll add a window or take a window away as needed, okay? But yeah, great size, tons of room. Yeah, I think for sure. I think on a 55 gated, I think this is for sure. And with the garage sizes, this would be worth like a move for my family. Just because we're getting the spiral, we're getting the rooms, we're getting the parking, we still got the same backyard, still gated. Something like this would make sense for us, right? And for the people that weren't quite ready to hop all the way on up to like a 70-foot product or bigger, this is a really big 55-foot. And so you don't really sacrifice on the spaces. Still have a ton of storage. The only thing that you would give up on this inventory is that not all the bedrooms up have their own bathroom, which is, I would say, more in line with what Newmark and Highland Homes inventories will typically do. Weston Homes and Perry Homes don't usually do that. You typically are gonna have to build it in order to get that kind of a level of customization, because they know that they're going in at one of the highest price points per square foot. And they know that eventually one of my clients, one of y'all, are gonna see this video and be like, Aaron, I want that one. And they know I'm gonna haggle them down as much as we can. And so them spending an extra $20,000 on bathrooms upstairs to just take another loss is just something that most of them aren't gonna do. And I think that Highland and some of the other builders that are in the prettier space, Highland, Newmark, some of those builders, are just kind of banking on the reputation and being like, hey, we'll make a little bit less money, but have more people that just love what our house looks like. And so I think they will just lean on making a little bit less money per house. Where Perry's gonna just be like, hey, this is what we do. Take it or leave it, move up to a bigger house to get more bathrooms, is what it is. Yeah, Perry just doesn't do it. So if you want everybody up here to have their own bath, you wanted that kind of modification, you'd have to likely build it. But ain't nothing wrong with that. At this price, at a price like this, people can walk around for a bathroom, right? That is what it is. This is a really nice size house, almost 3,500 square feet, gated, luxury community, premier builder that is still doing 1-2-10s. I know laws changed here recently, and a lot of the builders went to like a 1-2-6. I think the requirement is a 6-year warranty on structural now, maybe 7, don't quote me on that, but it's no longer 10. Perry is one of the builders that still does a 10-year structural warranty, which is important because at a home that is this size, you are likely gonna be in it, 7 to 10 years just because of how massive this house is, right? There's not many people that are gonna look at this house and then be like, I need to move again within the next 3 to 5 years. It just doesn't happen. So for them to still honor the warranties that they have at this price and at this size, even though laws have changed, I think that's important. And I think that speaks to why majority of my Perry buyers, I would say over 70% of my Perry buyers now are move up from previous Perrys, like a solid 70% of them. And there's some incentivized programs for that. You get an additional like closing cost if you had a Perry home and you move into another Perry home. They strive on taking care of you. I've only had one rough experience with Perry, and it was on a big build out in Bridgeland. And that one was just rough, new crews, new people that hadn't built plans before, first time they're ever seeing a plan. It was just errors pretty much throughout the way, that whole way. But other than that, man, I've sold probably about 30 or so Perrys at this point. And I would say that's the one of the 30 that I've had an issue with. All the rest of them have been solid. I've had clients that have been out of warranty for 3 or 4 years. We have a storm blow through. The builder came and replaced siding, helped them with paint, just gave them contractors. They're out of the neighborhood. I mean, just truly standing by their craft of just making sure that you're a Perry customer for life. I think they do a really great job of maintaining that relationship with their people going forward. But yeah, we have one more over here that actually is marked down to, I believe, $100,000 off of what they were originally listed at. So let's see if this one does it, or if you like that one a little bit better. And last but not least, on the Perry side, before we go and show you one more reason why Meridiana is so special, I want to say shout out to Ty, man. Ty did not have to show love and let me get her key like she does, but anytime I pull up on Ty, she's one of my favorite people to work with and for people to just show up on, and always sweet, always kind, and she's there most days. So if you are looking for, and that goes the same with all my Perry people over here. That's May, that's Drew, that's Joe, that's Sandeep. I've shown and sold a lot of Perrys in this neighborhood, and they've all been sweet. But special shout out to my girl Ty. She has been between here and Valencia over the last couple years, and she is back here. And I was happy to get her back over here, because every time that I've had somebody stop by and speak to Ty, they've left with an impression of Perry that was the same, if not better, than before they ran into her, man. So I appreciate Ty for not only giving me the key, but being awesome. And if you're in the neighborhood and you're looking at inventory, go by, stop by, see Ty, okay? Back into this home. This is a little bit of a different look for them. And so we'll get in, and then we'll talk about all of the numbers, because that's what y'all care about. I had a client that was kind of eyeing it. All right, family. Let's have a family huddle, family meeting. What did I tell y'all? If you're out here and you're not touring with me, excuse me. If you're out here and you're not touring with me, there's a couple things that if you see it in an inventory home, it means we ready to get up off this thing by any means necessary. By any means necessary. First thing, epoxied either flooring in the garage or back patio. That's like the first thing that they do, because that's only like a couple thousand. Then they're gonna start going room by room and furnishing and staging, right? Level 2 is they'll put out like the little easel in the hallway to give you some inspiration about what could be coming. Level 3, that pain point is up there to the max. You see actual furniture throughout the home, and they're gonna keep adding to this the longer it sits, okay? They really, another thing that you don't normally see from them, blinds. So again, the gems of whether or not you're with me, take this nugget with you. If you go out to a neighborhood and it's an inventory home that's been sitting for a while, we know we got room if you see epoxy, if you see blinds, if you see the art decoration, if you see paintings on the wall, If you see furniture staging, if you see a bed in that primary, if we got a bed in that primary, they're ready to damn near give this thing away at base, okay? They're sick of it, okay? So I say that because I didn't know that this was in here, but I want to give you the gems. If you're not touring with me, if you're with me, of course, I'm gonna pat you on that shoulder. I'm gonna be like, don't say nothing to them, but we got one, okay? If you're by yourself and you see this, and it's not a model home, if it's an inventory home, know that we can get you a great deal, okay? Back to the house. So out the gate, we have, and actually let me see this address one more time. So I'll make sure I give you the right stats. Yeah, this is 6507, I thought, okay. So we back in, and we see the dining furniture. First thing you see, what I tell you, we got art. Okay, we go into the office. We got blinds, okay? And what that tells me is, family, if you like this plan, we got a deal. So hit me up immediately. Hit me up immediately, okay? We come through. Again, beautiful wall of windows. I think this is their 3593 plan. I think this is the same as Sandeep's current model in the 60-foot section. So it's like they fit this on a 55. But this looks like his 60-foot model, okay? Great kitchen, little butler's area. Butler's pantry over there. Another thing, when they start adding hardware, right? So this legit has all the signs of a home that they are begging us to put an offer on, okay? Legitimately begging us to put an offer on it. Epoxy. Family, if you are looking for a 35 to 3,600 square foot home in Meridiana and you like Perry, please, I am begging you to call me. We got all the signs. Guys, we have all the signs. We got epoxy floor, we got staging, we have painting, we have hardware, we have blinds, we have all of the things. The only things that I don't currently see right now is an open house sign. That is the only thing that they are currently missing, okay? A deal is here to be made, okay? Let's go and check out this garage and see what they got parking wise. This is your laundry over here. Let me see if they did the extra bathroom. Yeah, they also paid the extra money for this bathroom. That's important. Double epoxy. I'm telling you, I'm not making this up. Family, I'm not making this up. They are ready. They are begging for this home to be sold. And if you are looking in Meridiana and you are looking for a home that is 3,600 or give or take, in that 34 to 3,600 square feet, you need to be looking at this, okay? You need to be looking at this. Okay. More decor. All right, come in here. Blinds throughout. We have secondary guest room with its own ensuite for that older parent or just for that guest that you want to have downstairs but need their own space. They got that. I love this primary, love the height of the ceilings in here. Love the size of this one. I just sold 2 of these in Jubilee. Shout out to my family that got, or my families that got these. Beautiful plan. Now, there's nothing's in here gonna wow you, right? They're not gonna have, and that might be some of the reason why it may be sitting, right? Because they have the tiles in here, they have the wood look that's not really hitting everybody. A lot of my people prefer when it's like a painted dark blue or black or dark green or something that's a little bit more striking. And so the color scheme that they have in here is kind of a little bit more suited, honestly, for an older family. And you got to ask yourself the question of, does an older family need all of this house at the phase at which you're kind of appealing to the looks of it all, right? That's the question you'd have to ask. And that is why they are now forced to stage and epoxy and blind and hardware and do all the things that they've kind of been forced to do so far to try to get this one sold. Does this one have a movie room? I'm interested to see if they did that ad. Good size room. All right, so they didn't. So I know from builds that there's an option to build and put a movie room. And so that is another reason. I also know, as you see this scuttle door, I also know that that is pretty clear attic space basically on both sides of this house. This one is going to be a little bit clearer because that's their default for where the movie room goes on this plan. And it'll sit basically right over this secondary room right here, okay? So now that I'm looking at this, I understand why a house that was priced how it was priced and looks how this one looks. This is half of your Jack and Jill. Talked about that the last segment. Little linen. We'll walk around because I need the minutes. I can see now why someone would have looked at that original price and been like, hell no. Because for that amount, I could spend a little bit more. Yeah, I won't be gated, but I could get a Highland Homes 222 or 224 or 223, and it'll be a wider house, and I can still be at 750 and pretty much get all the spaces that I think should be guaranteed at a house that is this size. I think that is what happened. So a combination of the looks, the original Perry pricing, and the lack of a movie room, because if you're buying a house that is this big, I shouldn't have to then go in after the fact and call my guy Julio, although my dog can do it for you, right? If I can find the clip, I'll throw the clip up here, right there, all the things that you would want to do, you can get a contractor to do it, right? But if I'm looking at it objectively of why I think this one is sitting, I think it's because of some of the finishes, the original price, and not having a movie room is crazy, okay? But let's talk about pricing now and see if we can make more sense to you to still call a Julio and still be under your budget. So if this one was originally $625. They now have this one at $625. Or $725 was the original. They now have this at $625. So a full $100K off, okay? Do they have more room? Absolutely. What would it cost to add a movie room into this house? Probably about 15 to add a movie room after the fact. And then now it's just like, do you want to be a project manager? Do you want to micromanage and do all of that stuff? You may not. Or you may say, hey, we don't need all of these rooms. I could turn one of these rooms into my movie room in the meantime while I save up to do some kind of alteration afterwards, right? But for people that this space is good for, and you're not seeing any structural adds or things that you would need to make this be home, we already at 100K off before we get to the Aaron asks, okay? Refrigerator, I didn't even catch that the first go round. We got a refrigerator in here. So appliances, blinds, hardware, staging, epoxy front and back, paintings. They did everything but bedroom furniture in here. The deal is here, okay? But one of the last and final things that absolutely makes Meridiana special is the affordability, in my opinion, to build here, right? The comparison that kind of comes up the most often on this side of the town is midline. Should I build in midline Legacy? Should I wait for Del Bello Part 2 to come back and wait for that toll or whatever? Should I go a little bit further out and go to like a Austin Point and Richmond and build there? The affordability of lots and land here, and just the sheer amount of land that we still have left, is super special, because even with some of our most premier builders here, an oversized lot oftentimes is owned like 30, 40 grand, where I know that I've seen some lots on much smaller size sections. I'm talking 40 and 50 in some of the more premier neighborhoods like a Bridgeland or like Town Lake when they were in their heyday, where those lots on small homes were 30, 40, 50,000 just for the land. Okay, so if you can get a 60, 65 foot oversized lot for like in a cul-de-sac, no bag neighbors, water feature for like 30 grand, 40 grand here, that is what really takes Meridiana to the next level. And so we're gonna ride around, just kind of show you some of the sections that are still open for you to actually build on. And then we're gonna call it a day. And yeah, last but not least, man, it's just the abundance of availability. So if we look through to the sections behind me, you probably have a few hundred acres going that way. If you go behind me on this, there's a little ravine back there, so I'm not gonna walk all the way back there, but just behind there, there's another like 100 or so acres going that direction. As we turn over that section of houses behind me that I'm pointing over, again, the same in basically every direction. You're gonna have available corner lots. You're gonna have no bag neighbors, water features, pretty much in every section. And so when it comes down to it, man, Meridiana is just a really special place because you have affordable options, great inventory homes, and great opportunities that are gonna be here for the next years to come to build your dream home, whatever footprint that is on, at a super affordable price, because the land out here is still just way more affordable than your Cadies and your Cypresses and some of your more developed areas that have been going on for way longer. Yeah, but today, man, great video. I love what Beazer's putting down. I'm interested to see what they got going on in the marketplace. I love what Perry's doing on the inventory. We got a deal. I'm telling you, if you're looking for a house that size and you don't need that movie room, we got a steal. Hit me up, please. And if you're looking to build, just like my client is ending up doing over there, shout out to them. If you're ready to build and you know that that's what you want to do, and you got dreams of customizing and picking all the details and customizing and moving things around, if you got those dreams and you love that, I got the relationships here to get you a little bit more sauce on top, right? But that is the video for today. You leaning more inventory? Are you a first-time buyer? Are you looking to build your dream on an affordable lot like this? Whatever it is, I'm looking to be your guy.